It's sour, it's salty, it has natural flavourings. Today we're drinking Wake Up and Smell the Gose. Hey guys, it's Jim from Dr. Tankenstein with another episode of Beers of the British Isles. On today's episode, we are drinking Wake Up and Smell the Gose from Evil Twin Brewing. Now, I'm torn on this one. I can't decide. When I first picked it up, I was like, Wake Up and Smell the Gose is probably the worst beer name I've ever heard. But now I'm torn between, I can't decide whether it's Wake Up and Smell the Coffee, that kind of thing, whether it's just a Gose instead of coffee, or if this is like a Wake Up and Smell the Roses? Rose? Because I suppose I couldn't say Goses, Goses, because there's only one of them. Anyway, maybe it's a good name, maybe it isn't. Let me know what you think of the name, whether it's roses or coffee, I don't know. Okay, so this is a 6.5% Imperial Breakfast Gose, which is absolutely a made-up style of beer. I guess, obviously, Wake Up and Smell. If it is Wake Up and Smell the Coffee, then that'll be why it's Breakfast Gose. But it's got blueberries in it, and for some reason, blueberries seem to just equal breakfast nowadays. You know, we had the blueberry waffle stout right there, 50 odd episodes ago, and yeah, I don't know, I never have blueberries for breakfast. Do you guys? Let me know if I'm missing out on blueberries for breakfast. Anyway, this is a Gose, okay? An Imperial Breakfast Gose is definitely made up, but the style of Gose definitely isn't. It's a real thing. A Gose, much like this breakfast Gose, it's a German style beer, originally brewed in Germany, I believe. It's a sour beer, heavily wheated beer, so up to 50% wheat malt in the grist. And the hallmark of a Gose is that they are salty. So I guess if you believe in the whole water chemistry thing with brewing, then the water that was originally used to brew these styles was salty, and so that just kind of carried through. The style of Gose is now a salty beer. That being said, I don't have any information about the ingredients in this beer. I don't know the grist, I don't know the hops, I don't even know the IBUs. All I have is the ABV and the ingredients on the back, which I'll get to in a sec. So like I say, it's more than likely very heavily wheated. A lot of wheat in this, which means it's probably going to be cloudy. Whether it'll have good head retention or not, I'm not sure, because it should also be sour, which will sway the head retention towards being a little bit thinner. The hops, I'm imagining, if any, there'll be some kind of German noble hop, that kind of thing. Now, I said about the ingredients. This has, barley. I mean, it may even say them on the can, I'm not sure. This has barley and wheat. It has yeast. It has blueberry puree, so they have put blueberries in there. It has salt. It also has the triple threat of lactic, citric, and malic acid. Now that worries me that they've put that on the ingredients, because typically brewers will use different strains of bacteria to bring these acids into play in varying concentrations. And the bacteria are kind of good at that. They get the balance very well, because each acid will impart its own kind of different sort of rounded sourness kind of thing. So if they've just gone and thrown those acids in on their own, I'm not going to say I'm concerned. I'll be interested to see how the balance plays out. So what am I expecting? I'm expecting something hazy, with a slightly thinner body, Obviously expecting some blueberries in there, a little bit of salt. I'm expecting this is going to be quite sour. And I'll let you know why later. But first, let's just see what it tastes like. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, we have a complete strikeout on my thoughts, my predictions of what this beer was going to be. I said it would be hazy with a poor head. And if you just look down at that beer now, you can see that it is the complete opposite of that. It's basically crystal clear with such a fluffy head, probably the fluffiest head I've seen come out of a can of beer for a while now. So this is just frosting over a little bit. It is cold. I'm drinking this cold, though I did take it out of the fridge about half an hour ago, just because the flavors of these things can be quite complex. So it's good to have them just a little bit warmer than fridge temperature. So it looks great. It has that kind of pinkish hue that I guess comes from the blueberries, but I don't know about you, but I've noticed that sour beers tend to have that. So almost if a beer was going to be gold, maybe when you add the bacteria, the acid, lower the pH a little bit, it's kind of like a rose gold rather than a gold. I don't know if you even know what I'm talking about there, but that's what I think. So it looks pretty great, nice and crystal clear, surprisingly, with a good head. Ooh, the aroma here is interesting. It's got a smoky edge to it, which I really wasn't expecting. Yeah, it's kind of like it's either smoky or pastry or both. Obviously, I don't know what malts are in this. So I wouldn't like to hazard a guess. But that's very interesting. Yeah, you can smell the blueberries just a touch underneath there as well. So let's see what it tastes like. That's pretty special. Pretty damn special, that. But I'm lost for words. So I'll talk you through what I'm tasting here, because otherwise you're just watching me drink beer, and that's pretty sad. So the blueberry is definitely there. It's kind of like it's there in the form of, say, a blueberry pancake, rather than, or a blueberry muffin, let's say, rather than a tart blueberry. It's so strange. They've managed to compartmentalize all the flavors, and they hit you one by one. So the first thing is you get the sourness. It's very subtly sour. I thought this was going to be a mouth puckering mess because of all those acids that are in there. But they've done something very clever there. It is sour going in, but it's not so sour. And to be honest, that fits the style better than it just being an absolute tart bomb. So the sourness hits, and then you kind of follow by that smooth blueberry muffin flavor. The salt is kind of like if you've ever had salted chocolate. You know, salted chocolate, kind of the salt in the chocolate almost emphasizes the sweetness. So they've done something very clever here. They've used the salt to combat the sour, knowing that it wasn't supposed to be sweet, but that adding salt would emphasize the sweetness, if that makes sense. All in all, this is very, very interesting. And very boozy, so my cheeks are getting a little bit rosy here, but this is a very, very interesting beer. Let's put it like that. so before I start the brewery section, I'm just going to put a disclaimer out there. This brewery is Danish. The spellings of things and places and people are just far too, they're just beyond my capability. So I'm not going to be specific at all here. If you want the specifics, they are available online for you to go research yourself. I'm just going to point you in the right direction, maybe tell you a nice little story about the brewery. And this brewery does have a cool little twist in its story. So it started back in 2010. Like I say, this is Evil Twin Brewing, Danish brewery. Started back in 2010. The owner, whose name I can't pronounce, has a twin brother who also owns an international brewery. How awesome is that? Apparently the brothers can't stand each other, and so I guess maybe the other brother started his brewery, and then this guy thought, you know, screw you, I'm gonna be the evil twin. I'm gonna make my super famous, really good brewery to spite you. Yeah, so it started as a gypsy brewery originally, which means that there was no fixed premises. So what this guy would do basically is design beers and pay other breweries to brew them for him. He would then sell them under his Evil Twin brewing name. It's very commonly done. There are a lot of breweries that start out this way. This guy, however, has only just built his own premises in New York. That was 2019. He built his own brewery, which is pretty amazing to think, because this is a pretty big brewery. If you've never heard of it before, Evil Twin Brewing, I suggest you take a look into them. They have a lot of awesome looking beers. The flavors that they achieve in their beers and strive to achieve in their beers is pretty incredible and very commendable. So for him to have done that for 9 years, I'm saying him, he's probably got a team, I'm sure, but I don't know their names, nor can I pronounce them if I did know them. So to have done that for 9 years is pretty commendable. And I mean, this Wake Up and Smell the Gose is pretty typical of their kind of branding. You know, the font is spot on. The colours, the blocky sort of design on the can. Yeah, I can't fault these guys, and having learned a little bit more about them, I think it's great. Okay, then let's wrap this one up. Let's wake up and smell the Gose. Whatever that means. Yeah, so this is another one, and this is why I really like doing this, is because I would never have picked this up. I would have just seen the style, the Imperial Breakfast Gose style, and just rolled my eyes and walked off thinking that it was, you know, a laugh. I'm really glad I bought this beer. It's very interesting. Like I say, a Gose is supposed to be wheat heavy, it's supposed to be soured, it's supposed to be salty. This has all those things, but much more. So let's go top to bottom. It looks great. It's got that rose gold hue. Like I say, I don't know if that's from the blueberries or whether there is something going on with the pH there that I'm not aware of. The head retention is great. So I do have more left in the can there, but I've already probably drank too much too quickly. The aroma and the flavor perfectly match. The aroma is strange because this isn't at all what it's supposed to taste like if you just read the can and the blurb online. The aroma perfectly matches this. I'm sort of scratching my head as to how they've done this. Like I was saying before, so it has to be sour, and it is. The sourness is the first thing that hits you. Then the blueberries, blueberry muffin style blueberries, if you remember. And I think that the key ingredient here is that salt. Obviously they need the acid for the sourness, but the salt really holds it together. I'd love to try this at sort of different stages and remove layers of it, because it's so layered and I'm not even gonna say balanced. It's off balance in a very good way, because all those flavors, the acid, the blueberry muffin, it's all compartmentalized. You can pick them out. You know, it feels like I've had maybe a strong glass of fresh orange juice followed by a blueberry muffin, something like that. It's pretty remarkable. There's no bitterness, there's no hop aroma, there's no hop flavor. I dare say there isn't even any grist flavor in there. This is a very special beer, and I'm very glad I got it. So I'm going to suggest that you go out and buy yourself Wake Up and Smell the Gose by Evil Twin Brewing, and as you listen to it, put on. This is a bit of an obscure song. Put up Wake Up Wendy from the Chef Aid episode of South Park, as sung by Elton John on the episode. I'm not sure it is Elton John in real life. Maybe it is, I don't know. But that's a great song, and that's just been in my head on a loop ever since I picked this beer up a few days ago. So do that, because I'm gonna be honest, as beers go, on a scale of 0 to 10, just as a beer, I put this up there at a 9. So go grab yourself one. I got this from Tesco. I'm sure you can get them elsewhere on the Brewdog website for some reason. And if you like this is one of those styles where if you head down to your local bottle shop and ask for a Gose, maybe even, ask for a Gose, and the selection will be all sort of small, dusty bottles that will absolutely change your life. So guys, until then, cheers.